Hi everyone, I'm Dele Atanda, CEO of metaKnyts. metaKnyts is dedicated to transforming ownership through storytelling and play. We are part of the metaKnyts group of companies that focus on data sovereignty technology that give people a way to own their data in a material way. But before we get into all of that, I want to tell you a little bit of a story. The story I'm telling you about is a story called metaKnyts. And metaKnyts is a story about two realms. There is the analog world that we are familiar with, that everyone knows. And in our story, this world is called Terra. And then there's the digital world, which is a digital twin of Terra called Digiterra. Now, Digiterra is a hidden world, which is a replica of the world that we know. But it has been overrun by a conglomerate of cyber vampires called Fangs. Now, Fangs are really focused on, basically, they suck people's data in Digiterra so that they can use that to enslave them both in Digiterra and across Terra. But before we get into the detail of it, I want to play you just a very short video that will give you a sort of big overview of the overall story. Super. So as you can see, metaKnyts really is set across this realm, these two realms where you have, on one hand, you have these Fangs. So Fangs are the sort of lead group of these cyber vampires. Here's an example of one of Fang Sentinel here, which is a foot soldier, pretty low level operative from within the Fang world. This is a very senior Fang. This character here is one known as Tyrantus, who's one of the leaders of the Fang movement. He's your classic, what we call a face crook. And he is really obsessed with, he's got a very large group of people in his ecosystem. And you can see they have different sort of powers and weapons. And he's got these particular interesting ones. The one in his hand is called an Eyeborg, and it's like a surveillance drone that is deployed to capture vast amounts of data on people. And then he also has these bugs that are called suckerborgs that also are sort of like mosquito-like bugs that suck people's data and use that to build up Tyrantus's data empire. Another character that we are aware of is Lord Roth, Count Roth. Count Rothberg, who's a investment banker, runs a private bank and is a very senior Fang, very highly connected, is rumored to be connected with the International Monetary Fang, and really has been a very senior operative, particularly in the financial world and the financial circles that the Fangs are highly dependent on. Now, we know that the Fangs have been basically running this operation of harvesting vast amounts of data from Digiterra and using it to enslave people in Terra. We know that they are at war with another faction called the Bats, and they are in a race to create a supercomputer, a super AI, and they believe whoever creates that first will ultimately have control of both dominions. So the Fangs and Bats are very much at war with themselves. Tyrantus and Count Roth are senior figures in that, but there are more characters emerging where our information is coming spuriously to us. about the fangs from Digiterra. And we're basically being provided this information through a group called the Cypherpunks. And the Cypherpunks are essentially a freedom fighting movement that have erupted in Digiterra. We know that they are operatives who have real personas in Terra, though most of those are not known. This, for example, is Spartacus. He's a leading Cypherpunks. And you'll be familiar with this character here, Satoshi, also known as Sage in Digiterra. So Satoshi is really sort of being the lead cypherpunk, and he's leading a movement to use decentralized computing and decentralized money and decentralized AI to liberate people from Fang control. He's a very senior part of the cypherpunks, and he also is the mentor of Deiji, who is our sort of key protagonist. And he's how we essentially have had contact with the realm of Digiterra, also known as the courier. So he's responsible for transporting information between Digiterra and Terra, and we've learned a lot about the space through him. And the metaKnyts story definitely unfolds around the characters of the cypherpunks, and Deiji particularly, and the metaKnyts specifically as they unfold. Information comes to us about Digiterra through the form of comics, and it's a very well-developed story and lore. It's perhaps one of the most well-developed story NFT projects in the metaverse. It is very much a story about the battle for the soul of the metaverse, and is the first comic to be minted on chain. metaKnyts is the first crypto comic franchise in that sense, and continues to break ground in that regard. Now, as a franchise, it really delivers a rich set of unparalleled perks and utilities for fans, collectors, and retail investors. And we'll come to retail investors specifically at the moment, in a moment rather. These take the form of assets like our crypto comics, the Nightbook motion comics specifically as well, which are a unique type of a very sort of digitally native form of comic experience. There are animations that are distributed both as digital and NFTs, and same with the comics themselves. And there's a variety of other assets like night posters, which are based on characters from the story, that are these motion posters that can fill large canvas areas, and night cards, which can be used as trading cards, and that bridge this world of Terra that we know with the world of Digiterra, and I'll show you more about that in a moment. So the project has got a rich portfolio of NFTs. There are over 6 different types of NFTs in the project. They basically cover 3 key areas: storytelling, play, and identity. So in terms of story, we have the night books and the night posters, which are very much connected with the story saga that we are learning about through the comics. And there is then the play aspect of it, which is where we have a metaverse-based game. And in that sense, we have inventory and night cards, which bridge the comic story with the metaverse game. And then there are identity-focused NFT types and utilities. And the Origin PFP collection is one of those, as well as metavatars. And we'll talk about metavatars particularly a little bit further down the road. The project also introduces what we call the Night Wallet, which is essentially a universal wallet model around multi-currencies, both fiat and cryptocurrencies. But very importantly, it's a crypto media wallet. And it's a wallet where different types of metaKnyt related NFTs can be stored. And it will also be the home of our loyalty and rewards program, which will take the form of crypto rewards and crypto loyalties that will be coming out shortly. In addition to that, we have a rich ecosystem of partnerships. The project is really very much designed to facilitate partnerships across a variety of areas, from sports through education and entertainment. We're working very closely with a few academic institutions on setting up Web3 clubs that are involved with educating people about this realm of Digiterra and digital rights and the like through this partnership. The Knight app also then has this Knight key, which is really focused around self-sovereign identity. So there are a lot of tools that we introduced through the project to the world. So metaKnyts essentially brings a lot of next generation data ownership and data sovereignty tech to the world through the metaKnyts saga. But it is very much anchored on the metaverse, and it's anchored on how do we protect the metaverse and this battle for the soul of the metaverse. I'm going to play you this short video to give you a little bit of a vision and view of what our metaverse framework looks like, and it gives you an insight into the world of Digiterra.
Yeah, we need life at ease, food and trees, and NFTs, but most of all, we need to be free. Slow burn, not all hype, decompression, chamber type plan, alright? Smash those supremacy goals and laws. You signed up but didn't read the fine print clause. Give those fang foes pause. Fast forward, they analyze AI eyes, trained to claim all prize. Most don't know, they don't realize it's all tied. Eyes glued to what you do, who you know, where you reside. Sucking your life to grow the lie. Down the slippery slope we slide, roll over your third eye. To fight to change the tide, free ride, that was a lie. Good and evil energy is the fight to flip the tide. Fuck privacy to die, you never do the metaKnyts. Down the slippery slope we slide, roll over your third eye. That was to change the tide. Enter the metaKnyts.
So yeah, the metaKnyts metaverse. So as I say, we're familiar with the world of Terra that is analog, and the world of Digiterra in our law is this digital world. But we also understand that these worlds are coming together, they are converging, and this is essentially the keystone of our metaverse. metaTerra is this blended metaverse that is a private and safe metaverse, really underpinned by ethical data sharing standards and principles. So it's very privacy preserving, which enables us to bring real world data integration into it. There's self-sovereignty is a key theme. So it's really sort of predicated on being the world's first self-sovereign ethical data metaverse. And we are working with a group of partners, including Microsoft, GeoPipe, Milk, Unanimous Games, and the like, towards building this metaverse framework currently. One of the things that we are building within metaKnyts is these metavatars, which will be avatars that allow you to not only port your data between different metaverses, but to do that in a manner that you have full sovereignty and control over, effectively giving a degree of personal safety in the metaverse. Of course, a currency will emerge. We have metacoin, or mcoin as it's colloquially referred to, which is the underpinning currency for our ecosystem, which basically enables rewards and purchase of inventory and experiences and assets and NFTs and all the like from within our ecosystem and complementary ecosystems. So, but I think a very important point about what we're talking about is this idea of ownership. And I want to our project goes beyond simply delivering NFTs and experiences and stories and narratives that people can engage with. We're very much really about transforming ownership. So the ultimate way for us to achieve that is to enable people to actually be able to own a piece of the company as well. So we've been running a program or a campaign on Start Engine, and I'll just play you again a short video on that, and we'll get into the detail of how that works.
Well, metaKnyts Media, a blockchain media company, announcing the release of its metaKnyts. That's a cryptographic digital comic series.
So it's set in this world called Digiterra, which is like a digital world that mirrors the physical world. And in that world, there are cyber vampires who suck people's data.
Like,
and that's not accidental.
Facebook, Apple.
It's not accidental.
metaKnyts isn't just a graphic novel. It's a portal to the shifting future of your digital life, where extended reality and gaming meet the physical world.
One of the things we're doing with metaKnyts is we're releasing it with the wallet, whereby, you know, when people sign up, they will have a self-sovereign ID.
Anything you can imagine on a playing card can be created as a digital collectible and saved in your personal media wallet.
So the idea of creating a comic series where the issues are published as non-fungible tokens is really exciting, because it means that we can create collectible digital artifacts that can grow value over time. Crypto actually allows us to own these assets independently of the platform.
It only takes a few minutes to purchase metaKnyts shares on startengine.com. You can own a stake in metaKnyts and the future of digital collectibles.
So yeah, you know, the metaKnyts franchise, essentially a comic, a game, with a film, a metaverse, and a portfolio of NFTs. It's a rich, complex cyberpunk saga, and leading innovative metaverse platform and framework. In terms of progress to date, we've run a campaign on startengine.com, as I mentioned. We raised over $1 million. We've just launched our second campaign now. We have over 3,500 investors, 6 different types of NFTs, 13 episodes of our saga completed in still motion comic format, and alpha game in development. And as I say, we've just launched our second Reg CF campaign, where we're raising up to 4.75 million. And this is really important, because I think, you know, ownership is really key, but there is a different type of ownership proposition that equity in the company has versus NFTs. I mean, think about it. If you could own an NFT of one of the original Spider-Man characters versus owning shares in Marvel, which would you choose? I mean, the obvious answer is both, right? And I think that's a really important thing when we talk about enabling, transforming ownership in a meaningful way. We're not just doing that in terms of being a consumer and collector of our NFTs, but also in terms of the company itself. And we think this is quite unique as a proposition, and we think that it's going to really be transformative in terms of the media landscape. Our product roadmap's pretty advanced, as I say. Our cryptographic novel and comic series and animations and NFTs are pretty much complete. Our Night Wallet and Metaverse are in development. We will have an alpha version of the Metaverse game ready by the end of Q1 next year. And we're in pretty significant conversations with studios and screenwriters around a film, TV saga around the show around this series as well. So that's really how we intend to achieve scale. It's probably going to be closer to 2024, 25 for 2025 timeframe. But you know, we believe that this has got potential to become a next blockbuster media franchise in that regard. Excuse me. So I think with that ado, I'm just going to give you a sneak peek of the next episode coming out very shortly. So season 1, our new season with the next 11 iterations of the story will be released in the next couple of days. So stay tuned and follow us and come and find out more about it. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to take a few of them and answer them now. Thank you.